And I think a lot of nomads on social media, they only show the great part of this lifestyle. I'm going to give you the real deal, no BS. In my estimation, it probably went up 20 or 25%. Van life and vehicle dwelling in general have surged.
It's almost hard to believe, but I've been living in my Toyota Prius for 28 months now, and I've noticed some big changes along the way
that you will definitely need to know
if you'll be hitting the road anytime soon. So buckle in while I share these important updates that could have an effect on your nomad journey.
So before I begin this video, please do understand this is not a rant video. This is not a, me complaining video or anything of that nature at all. I love this lifestyle to death. I love being a nomad. For me, I think it's a great lifestyle. It saved my ass, to be very frank, because as many of you know, I suffered a massive stroke 4 years ago, and essentially half of my body doesn't work. So if I had to be in an apartment or a house, slowly dying and struggling to pay a huge exorbitant rent or a mortgage, trying to make a living, it would absolutely suck. I mean, my quality of life would be horrible. I am a very, very upfront, honest, no BS guy. And I think a lot of nomads on social media, they only show the great part of this lifestyle, the shiny, happy, wonderful part of this lifestyle. And that's great. If they want to do that, that's fine for them. But I think it's irresponsible when people do that, because there are a lot of folks that do want to get into this lifestyle. And I think that you have to be realistic of what it's, actually about. So that's what this video is. It's my experiences over the past 28 months, almost 3 years of me living in my car. I'm going to lay it right on the line for you. So that's the way it is, guys. Let's jump into the good stuff. First and foremost, the price of food is insane right now. Absolutely insane. And I know that the media is talking about this a lot lately with inflation and everything like that, and that's great. That's wonderful. However, I don't see a lot of nomads discussing this at all, and this is hugely important because, as I've said a zillion times in my videos, if you are going to live in a car, people, it is the same exact thing as living in a house or an apartment. The same thing, only on a much, much smaller scale. You still have to pay for food. You still have to pay for bills, things like cell phone and, any apps you might use or your car insurance and all of that. So it is the same thing. It is no different. Let me just give you a quick example to highlight what I mean. When I started to do this 28 months ago, it would generally cost me about $50 to $55 for a week's worth of food for me. And that's eating very, very good, with enough water for 6 or 7 days, enough snacks, enough food in general. That same $50 or $60 cost me today $80 or $85. That is a huge pinch. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to look around it. And that hits you directly in the pocketbook. In my estimation, it probably went up 20 or 25%, because again, I'm on a very tight budget, which I think everybody should be if you are living in a vehicle. $50-$60 that it cost me almost 3 years ago is now $80, $85, and $90 a week. So yeah, big difference. Be prepared for that when you live on the road in a vehicle. The price of gas, thankfully, has come down a little bit over the past couple of months, but guys, it is still really, really, really bad. Where I am in the Northeast, I just filled up 2 days ago, and I was paying almost $3.60 a gallon, which is outrageous in my opinion. So if you are on the road, look, it could go down. Hopefully it will. It could go back up. It's anybody's, guess at this point, especially with, a big election coming up and all of that turmoil. That's one of the reasons why I believe that a smaller vehicle pays off in spades when you are a nomad and live on the road. I know a van and sprinters and all of that have their appeal. I was actually going to get one myself when I started doing this. You have room to stand up in and to walk around and all that fun stuff, and that's great. But, the downside is if you move around a lot, filling up a van or a Sprinter or, a similar vehicle, it can just get mind-bogglingly expensive. I mean, it's really, really bad. I still feel it at $3.50, $3.60 a gallon. And, it was worse 4 or 5 months ago. When it was over $4, it was $4.10, $4.20. So definitely be prepared for the price of gas. It is going to eat into your budget big time, especially if you have a larger vehicle. So you definitely want to plan for that before you get into this lifestyle in terms of choosing something that might be a little bit more sensible based on your budget, your income, so on and so forth. Van life and vehicle dwelling in general have surged in the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, just like a rocket ship to the moon, thousands and thousands and thousands of people have gotten into this. And look, me personally, I love that. I love meeting and seeing fellow nomads on the road wherever I go. But there is a big downside to that. And that downside is this has become a major cottage industry for businesses. And everything is more expensive in terms of, more so with vans, but definitely cars too. Everything is just more expensive to fix, especially if somebody knows that you live in a vehicle. So for example, if you go to a mechanic and you're having car problems and they know you live in a vehicle, take my word, there's a lot of shady mechanics out there. And when they know you live in a vehicle and you have to get back on the road, guess what? Be prepared to get hit in the wallet. That's just the way it is, folks. So, and it's not just mechanics, it's everything. It's modifications for vans, it's modifications for cars. A buddy of mine just put an inverter into his car, and he walked into the place, and I guess maybe they thought he was born yesterday or something like that. He didn't know what he was talking about or doing, and they tried like doubling the price on him. So yeah, again, this has become a huge cottage industry, and look, unfortunately, people are going to try and take advantage of you. So that is definitely another thing to keep in mind if you want to get into this. It's not like, 5, 6, 7 years ago where everything was a little bit less and a little bit easier. Just because of the popularity of this whole movement, this whole lifestyle, the game has changed big time, and you have to be prepared for that. Let's talk gig worker jobs. It is a different world out there nowadays, folks. The competition is just getting very, very brutal, big time. I've had several friends, especially ones out west, and they have told me it has been incredibly challenging to find a gig worker job. Just because there's so many nomads out there that are making their living with gig worker jobs now, not only can it be tough to find a gig worker job, but also the competition once you actually have a job like that. Everybody's racing to get food orders and everybody's trying to beat everybody else. And it's a brutal game now. So, keep that in mind if you are looking to get into this lifestyle. Gig work is very, very popular. A lot of people do it for obvious reasons, the convenience, the flexible schedule, and all of that. But just know that those jobs are becoming very, very tough to get. And even when you do get them, there is a heck of a lot of competition. So fortunately, there are a lot of other jobs out there for nomads, too many to list here in this video. If you look at my past videos, I do have other content about that with some really good opportunities to make money on the road. But definitely expand your horizons if you are looking for work, because gig worker jobs, again, they might be tough to find. It might get better. It might get worse. Nobody knows. And then again, even if you can get them, the competition just between the gig workers themselves, it is just crazy brutal. Something else to keep in mind for the road. Okay, it's time to talk sleeping arrangements. By far, the most important one on this list. Folks, There are a lot of entities that are cracking down against vehicle dwellers right now. Obviously not good, and you need to know that. It's not only businesses like Walmart and other entities, it's also townships, it's cities, it's entire states in some cases. There are just a lot of us out there now. And again, in my opinion, that's great. But there's only so many places for all of us to go. There's only so many places that we can go and get a good night's sleep at night. And if businesses are going to start cracking down more and more, like it looks like they are, and townships and cities are going to start cracking down anymore, that's going to create huge headaches. So do know when you get into this that sleeping spots, where to stay for free, more specifically, it's becoming harder and harder to find good spots like that now with every passing day. And I don't want to paint a bleak picture. There are still many places out there, but not as many as there were, a few years back. Plain and simple, a business's perspective is, look, we don't want an eyesore in our parking lot at night or any other time of day. We don't want people sleeping in their cars. We don't want, strange people milling about in the parking lot, so on and so forth. So that's their side of it. And trust me, I understand that. They're looking at it from a business standpoint or from a city standpoint or what have you. But for us, we just want a free, safe, comfortable place to sleep at night. That's our side of it. And do know that if you are getting into this now, again, there are a lot of great places you can find to sleep for free, but it might be challenging some of the times and in some of the places. So definitely know that, definitely be aware of that, and do plan for that, when you make out on your journey. So what do you guys think? I mean, do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Anybody out there on the road right now, please let me know your thoughts, share your comments. That's what this is all about, a conversation. I know many of my nomad friends are feeling the pinch in a major way right now. They're just not comfortable, some of them. Their incomes are very stretched. Me, I'm in a fortunate situation. I have fairly decent employment. I'm able to make ends meet and save a little bit of money. But again, even, my arrangement is still, I am feeling the pinch in a bad way. And it is hurting a little bit. And just to compare it to living in a house or an apartment, 1,000 times better than that. So let me be very clear. Me being in a car, I am making out super fantastic versus if I was in a sticks and a bricks. So let me be clear on that. But all of that being said, I definitely am feeling the pinch in a big way. So are you guys out there? Do you disagree with me? I don't know. Let me know in the comments section. Share your thoughts, share your opinions. And until the next time, happy trails, guys.